which I don't agree with at all, and I think Michael Jordan's a bitch for that. Welcome to Agents of Screen, the first and only place to come to for movie reviews live at the cinema. I am your boy Miles, aka the dark skin Enrique Iglesias, and we're here to review The Last Dance episodes 1 and 2, the Netflix documentary on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Just give me 1 second. Yeah man, I'll talk to you later, yeah? Yeah man, yeah. Alright, say no more. Now I've been looking forward to this for such a long time. And even more so because basketball, like all other sports, have been completely shut down because of obvious reasons. And not only that, it's very rare that we get a very detailed insight into one of the great sports people ever, and this is an opportunity to do just that. So it's gonna be spoilers in there. I'm gonna get into both episodes, but for those who haven't seen it yet, this is a necessary watch for every sports fan, not just basketball fans, for every sports fan, period. Michael Jordan is obviously the most popular basketball player of all time. Not only because of his success on the court, but also because of Jordan Brand, the shoe. Jordan Brand is so big, you can almost think of the shoe without even thinking about the man himself. That logo there, iconic. Growing up, you would give anything to have any item of clothing with this logo on it right here. In every episode, I'm going to put a different shoe as well. And I'm not quite wearing a Jordan top, but it's a basketball top. Nonetheless, you'll have to forgive me. But let's get into it. I'm going to go through episode 1 and episode 2. Episode 1 sets the scene for the whole series. So picture it with me. The year is 1997. And the Chicago Bulls have won 5 out of the last 6 championships. However, the Chicago Bulls roster is aging. Michael Jordan is 35. Scottie Pippen is 33. Dennis Rodman is 37, etc, etc. And the people in the front office, that is the people in the suits upstairs that make the money decisions, the trades, etc. Namely a guy called Jerry Krause, from a business standpoint, wants to get rid of the aging stars and start rebuilding the team without the staff and the players that got them there in the first place. The players, including Michael Jordan, are of the view that despite their age, they shouldn't be written off or discarded until they've shown they can't do it and at least given a chance to defend their title. Phil Jackson, who was the head coach at the time, is also deemed replaceable, and there is friction between him and the front office. However, they come to a compromise to let him stay for 1 final year. Thus, this season is coined by him and for the players, The Last Dance. Oh, that was magical. Now, episode 1 just gives you more layers into Michael Jordan's character. It started in his college years, how phenomenal he was there, and as a result, he got drafted in that 1984 NBA draft. I think he was a 4th pick, and he was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, and immediately when he touched down, he was already the best player there. And they just give you an insight into what was happening around that time. The Bulls at that time, before he joined or when he joined, weren't a very good team. The culture at that time, the players were doing cocaine and doing drugs and having prostitutes, etc. And he wanted no part of that. And because he wanted to win so badly, it kind of rubbed off on the rest of the team. So it raised their game. And that's a mark of a great player. Someone who can make other people look great as well. Or someone who can inspire others to be great themselves. So in this episode 1, that's basically what happens. But it just adds more to the legend. A young MJ coming into the NBA at 18 years old and already being the best player and inspiring pros who have been there before. And that's incredible. And it showed you the insight. He had like almost like a prison mentality. He was like, all right, cool. When I get there, whoever's the best player here, I'm gonna go at them. To have that mentality at such a young age speaks volumes, and it just shows you the type of character that Michael Jordan was. And I think this was echoed in episode 1. There was a particular game, I can't remember who they were playing against, but going into the 4th quarter, they were down by 16. And usually the Chicago Bulls, when they're losing in the 3rd quarter, they would give up on the bench. They're saying, yeah, whatever, okay, we'll look to the next game. But Michael Jordan, he was like, no, we're gonna try to win this game. This is only 16 points. We can get back into this. And lo and behold, they won that game, and he inspired them to want more for themselves, and his mentality of winning at all costs and playing every minute to win rubbed off on the team, and that carried on for the season. Episode 2, there's more meat on the bones. Episode 2 initially focused on Scottie Pippen, who they say is the Robin to Michael Jordan's Batman, and in MJ's own words, they would have not been able to do this without Scottie Pippen by his side, and he describes him as his best teammate ever. But what they show you about Scottie Pippen in this episode is that he was second in points in the Bulls to Michael Jordan. He was second in rebounds, first in assists, first in steals, but yet he was the 122nd highest paid player in the NBA. And the reason for this is that when he initially came in, he signed a 7 or 8 year deal for 18 million, which seems like a lot of money. It is a lot of money. However, in context, it is peanuts. So you had people in the league that were nowhere near as good as him, but yet earn 10 times more. But it gives you an insight into Scottie Pippen's background to kind of give you an insight into why he would possibly sign that contract. Now, Scottie Pippen comes from a very poor background. He's the youngest child in his house. 2 of his family members are in a wheelchair. His dad had a stroke right in front of him, and also his brother got paralyzed from the waist down when he was playing and they were doing some wrestling moves. So he has that responsibility of being not only the youngest but being the major breadwinner. So if someone is giving you 18 million to guarantee your future for the next 8 years, he's seeing that as an opportunity he cannot turn down, because basketball is basketball, but I have to take care of my family. That's how he is seeing it. At the time, you had other people telling him not to sign or sign a shorter contract so that when you can renegotiate, you're in a stronger position. But being that he was in that long contract, they said to him he was on peanuts for a very long time. Now, this documentary is showing you, as I said, it's all access. So it's showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly of everyone. So they have different opinions, so you have to kind of choose who you agree with. And this is kind of echoed in going into the 97-98 season. Scottie Pippen suffers an injury. Now, while all of this is happening, he's feeling underappreciated, underpaid. There's rumors that he's going to get traded away from the Chicago Bulls. They refuse to negotiate his contract. So he decides he has 2 options. He can either get surgery done, but then during the summer months, he'll have to rehab and then he'll be available for the season. But he chooses to enjoy his summer, go on vacation, and then when the season starts, he will then have his surgery. And the reason why he done this, he said, you guys have looked after yourself, you want to trade me, you don't want to pay me, and now you want me to do what's best for the team. He had enough after doing it for so long. He said, for the first time, I'm going to look after myself. I'm going to take my time and do what's best for me. Because if you guys, as in the front office, don't care about me, then I don't care about you. That's the basic mentality he had. And that caused slight friction. Phil Jackson, the coach, had no problem with it, but MJ was saying that he felt Scottie Pippen made the wrong decision and he was very selfish, which I don't agree with at all. And I think Michael Jordan is a bitch for that, because it's very rich for someone to call you selfish when they earn 10 times more than you and you haven't been disrespected by the organization as much as Scottie Pippen has. I don't rate Michael Jordan for that at all, especially as in the years that Michael Jordan took off from basketball to go play baseball for whatever reason, for 2 seasons or whatever it was, Scottie Pippen was the main guy. The team was on his back and he was still getting paid peanuts at that time. Now Jordan wants to unretire himself and come back, and now Scottie Pippen is the one that's selfish. Give me a break. Give me a break. And also, especially as that's your brethren, so if you get a chance to speak in front of the camera, you should be backing me. You should be saying like, listen, Scottie is his own man, he does what he wants to do, but Scottie Pippen is an integral part to this team and should be treated as such. And it's quite sad actually that even to this day, 2020, Michael Jordan still believes that Scottie Pippen made the wrong decision. As I said, Michael Jordan is an absolute waste man for that. So with Scottie Pippen being injured, at least in the first part of the season, the Chicago Bulls were struggling a little bit. They were struggling to get wins. Michael Jordan, his mentality changed, or even, it didn't even change, it just ramped up a notch. He wanted to win even more, was harsh on his teammates. He had to carry the team on his back without Scottie Pippen there. And with that, they go back in time to Jordan's first and second season in the NBA. And again, this shows you his mentality, how much he wants to win. In his rookie season, he led the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. You know how mad that is to come into the league and lead everything, every statistic in your team as a rookie? That is absolutely insane. And at the start of his second season, he suffered a foot injury. Some type of bone in his foot broke and he was forced to be sidelined for a long time. He was itching to get back couldn't wait. When he finally comes back from injury, it's more to the tail end of the season. Unbeknownst to the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan has been playing in his local gym, going back to high school, trying to get fit again, ready to play again. But the organization are a bit wary. Chicago Bulls are still not a very good team. They have no chance of winning a ring. And the doctors say to him, you have a 10% chance of re-injuring yourself again. And if you get re-injured, there's a possibility that you will never play basketball again. So the organization were just thinking, just sit him down for the whole season. Why would you risk a franchise player like Michael Jordan, a young franchise player? But Michael Jordan, in his head, he just wants to win. And I don't know if you know how the NBA works, but usually the worst teams in the league, say for example you finish last in the league, you get the first pick in the draft. So be that Chicago Bulls weren't a very good team, the front office didn't want them to necessarily win in order so they can get a lower position in the league, so they can have a higher position in the draft. But Jordan, he couldn't understand that type of mentality. Once he's on the court, he's trying to win. So all of that is happening. He's returning from injury. Jordan wants to play, the organization don't want him to. They come to a compromise. They give him 7 minutes per quarter, exactly 7 minutes with a stopwatch. As soon as it goes 7, you have to come straight off. In the last game of the regular season, when they have a chance to make a playoff game, they managed to take the game to overtime with him playing 7 minutes, and he's going ballistic in these 7 minutes. The game goes to overtime, and because the front office don't want the Bulls to get to the playoffs or have that higher position, they keep Jordan on the bench. But somehow they managed to pull, John Paxson pulls out a shot and takes the Chicago Bulls to the playoffs, which kind of derails their plan. So in the playoffs, they played the Boston Celtics, with had 4 or 5 Hall of Famers, including Larry Bird. But even though they lost that series, Michael Jordan was balling out of control. And again, this just goes to show you, just adds to the legend. At 18, 19-year-old Michael Jordan, just come back from injury, had these Hall of Famers farting with fear. They couldn't handle him, and it just goes to show you it took 4 or 5 Hall of Famers in a legendary Boston Celtics team to beat a rookie Michael Jordan in a shit Chicago Bulls team, just coming back from a foot break. Michael Jordan, fucking hell, bruv. He was already a legend before, but this is just mental. But that's how episode 2 kind of concludes. And I think episode 3 they're gonna go into Dennis Rodman. But yeah, the first 2 episodes, really engaging, really insightful. I've been loving every minute of it. So much knowledge, so much nostalgia. The music they've been playing as well, all the old school rap. We see all the old school cars, the fashion. It's just, I'm loving every second of it, man. So they're releasing 2 episodes every week. So next week they'll do episodes 3 and 4, and so on and so on. So I'll see you guys for the next one. But as always, we always have content coming on the channel. We've been going absolutely brazy with the content, so check out our other stuff. And until the next video, peace.